Guys, it's Fonzie with DipYourCar.com. This is the dipping industry, dipping podcast, DipCast, episode 14. I
There it
cheated
is.
and looked at the notes. This is Fonzie from DipYourCar.com. With me always is Adam and our sound engineer, Dan. We've got an interesting episode for you guys today. We've got one of our favorite things to do, which is to get one of our listeners to call in and kind of interact with them a little bit. We try to do that all the time. We try to book guests ahead of time, but we got somebody calling in. We got some other topics to cover, and let me just get this out there. The past 3.5 years or so have been hectic. The past week has been just. I can't even think of a way of describing without sounding dramatic, but it's just been on a whole nother level
Right.
of chaotic, to where I'm falling asleep in bed every night with my phone and laptop, waking up the next morning and going, oh my God, I didn't finish that, and jumping right back into it. It's been crazy. The DYC Dip Pearl Top Coat Gallon release has had a lot to do with that. But what else are we covering today?
Well, we're going to actually talk about an interesting topic. We've recently changed the name of our pearls, and we're going to kind of touch base on that. We're going to take a lot of questions that we received this week and go through them. And we actually have one of our customers on the line, Brendan. We wanted him to call in because we've been talking about doing this a lot. We've only done it, I think, in one previous episode, but we want to start doing it.
I think we did two.
Really?
Nah, I don't know what I'm talking
about. I think you might be right. But we just thought it was a good time to have. We had a great question. And Brendan, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. So what's on your mind?
So I was just wondering, with all the appeal of Plasti Dip coming around with Dip Your Car, sort of making it available for cars, it's becoming a lot more common, yet I still see a lot of haters out there that, I personally will get flagged for just having a dipped car, and I know other people do. And a lot of times that shows our cars are overlooked because they're plastic dip.
Hey,
I just wondered, how exactly do you guys deal with that kind of a resentment, I guess?
You know what? I think it's funny and I'll give you an example. Brennan, you're part of some of the Facebook groups, right? The dipping Facebook groups.
Yeah.
So once in a while, we'll see a post. Somebody will post a dip job, or see a dip job posted in another car forum or another car group, like a Mustang group or a import group or something like that. And then people will jump in and start dropping crap all over it. They'll just say, they'll start saying negative stuff. And what that person will do is they'll screenshot it and put that screenshot into one of the dipping groups and say, hey guys, what do you think I should say? What do you think I should do? Man, there's still people that don't appreciate dip or don't understand it. Brendan, you've seen that stuff, right?
Oh yeah, all the time.
That always kind of cracks me up, because somebody, once in a while will send me a PM and say, hey Fonz, man, I posted this in a group and this is what everybody's saying, and send me a screenshot. What do you think I should say? And I always get it kind of confused. Like, why would you say anything?
Right.
Why does anybody at this point, 3 years in, dipping has become a massive industry for something that's only been 3 years old. It's only growing. It's not only growing, it's evolving. It hasn't just stayed the same and people are just using it. It's become such a credible thing to people who understand it. Why would anybody spend any time or energy explaining it or justifying it to someone who obviously don't know what it is? It's crazy. Like, here's the deal. You see a post like that, or you post something and see somebody saying something negative to it. If anybody wants my opinion on what to do, and I do feel very strongly about this, don't say anything.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that makes a bully or a negative person successful is when they get a response.
Right.
That's it. If somebody's talking about Plasti Dip and people are asking questions and they're curious and they're saying some positive stuff, and one guy comes in there, some knucklehead, and says, why'd you put that crap on your car? A, that guy has no idea what Plasti Dip is. B, if he does, he had a bad experience with it. and doesn't understand the true value of it or how to use it or whatever it is. Why would in the world would you spend time or energy to respond to that guy? Like, who is that guy?
Right.
Who cares?
Right.
The reality is this. Anybody who knows what Plastidip is, what it's capable of, or has an an elementary understanding of where this market has gone, being an over $25 to $30 million industry last year alone, in 3 years. It's one of the fastest growing trends in the automotive industry. If anybody understands anything about the reality of it, they don't really have much to say on a negative side. If they understand what it is and they choose not to use it, okay, that's perfectly fine. It's not for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're going to give one of those, why would you put that crap on your car? If you're going to give one of those, anything on that ignorant negative side, I would love for every dipper out there to come together and just bring yourself above that.
Right.
Why? Like, you see something like that, don't even bother responding. And it's not for personal reasons or this, that's just, what would be the point? Like, some guy posts something on a Facebook group. You have no idea who this guy is. You're never going to see him in real life. You probably don't care what he thinks or what his opinion is about anything. Why would you spend any time trying to justify something that you believe in to that guy or girl or whoever it is? You know what I'm saying, Brendan? Do you understand where I'm coming from?
Oh, yeah. Definitely. I think, and that's sort of where I've come around to myself. Just, what's the point? They don't care. You're obviously not going to convince them.
Right.
Exactly.
Unless they actually change something about their opinion, on their own. So.
You know what's funny? Do you have any idea how many absolute Plastidip haters have turned up being core members of the community? Guys that would come in and just trash. I would get personal emails or messages from people 2-3 years ago when I would take time and I was trying to build credibility to the brand and to the product when nobody really knew what it was. And some of these guys are some of the most frequent users and core members of the community now. If there's somebody out there who's hating on your car or something that you want to do or something that you did, there's not a reason in the world why you should spend an ounce of your mental or physical energy responding or even making that person think that you even saw his comment. Why would you even acknowledge that?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not trying to be the bigger person, or I don't care about being a bigger person. It's more about what would be the point of that? Who cares what that person thinks? They don't know anything about it. So and people do ask me from time to time, I went to a car show and I got some negative feedback, or I posted this and that. Now, granted, if somebody posts something to me and they say, hey, here's what I posted and I got a bunch of negative feedback. If I can identify their project and see that there may be a reason why, maybe you spray canned your whole car and it did come out real texture, it did come out with zebra stripes, I'm gonna kind of forget about all the negative comments. I'm gonna focus with that person and say, hey, look, forget about all that stuff, but let's take a look at the end result of your job. Because if you do something and that's the end result, you're leaving yourself open and exposed for feedback.
Right.
You're not gonna, Plastidip your car is going to stand out in a crowd. So if you do something like that, you're asking and exposing yourself to feedback. Your job has to be executed properly in order to receive good feedback, especially if you try your best and everything. But other than that, I'm gonna give the same person the advice all the time. Or somebody will message me, hey, yo, check this thread out, Fonzie. Go in there and show them who's boss, or go in there and tell them what the deal is. I would never in a million years spend time justifying what we do and what we're very good at and what is probably growing faster and thriving more than whatever that person's involved with to try to justify that. I could not possibly care less. Does that make sense, Brendan?
Oh yeah, very well put. That's basically what I assumed there would be some sort of answer like that, because it is becoming such a big thing to where if you just don't even know about it, and you're the one that's hating on it, because everyone that I've seen that enjoys it or likes it, you know, even if they don't choose to do it on their own car, they appreciate what it is. And I'm trying to, you know, redo mine back down to the bare minimum the next time I do it, you know, sand everything down and redo it and do something really cool that pops.
Right.
To bring better exposure to it.
If somebody's got a negative outlook on Plasti Dip because they saw a poorly done job, there's not much meat behind that. And what I mean by that is, if you're going to hate on Plasti Dip as a whole, or the use of Plasti Dip on cars as a whole, because you saw one guy do one crappy rim job, what sense does that make? You know how difficult it is to vinyl wrap a car, or to apply window tint, or to do any of these things?
Yeah.
If you saw one crappy window tint job, what kind of knucklehead's going to run around and go, window tint is crap? Why would you put that on your car, bro? That doesn't make any freaking sense.
Everyone that sees that knows that someone didn't apply that properly. I see it all the time on older cars, and it's like, it doesn't matter how old it is, if it wasn't applied properly, it's not going to look right.
Putting a film on your windows to give yourself privacy, to keep out UV rays and heat, is a pretty damn good concept. Giving the person an opportunity to change the color of any part of their car for a temporary period of time, and then peel it off and go back to the original stock color, is a pretty cool concept. As long as it's applied properly, there's not a reason in the world. I would love to sit down across the table from someone one day and have them explain to me how Plasti Dip is not a good idea, or how Plasti Dip is crap, or why would you put that on your car. That would be a conversation I would really enjoy having. But other than that, man, dude, do whatever you want to do. Apply the product, you know, to the best of your ability. Try to get your skill set as high as you can so that you can be proud of your work. And don't even spend a half of a second even paying attention to anything negative, because we have our own community. Everybody's supportive in there to the best of their ability. Anybody outside of that who chooses to see it from a negative point of view, I mean, I don't really curse on this, but who gives a crap?
Yeah, and I've really enjoyed that, having the DipYourCar community, because everyone pretty much welcomes everything with open arms.
Yeah, and that, you know, that's how it was built. That's how it was built from the ground up. It's people who trusted each other and wanted to try a product and helped each other out and grow and get better at it and everything. And that's the vibe we're going to keep from that. So that's a very good question that you brought up. It was kind of a broad topic, but I think it's something that needed to be addressed for a long time, because, excuse me, honestly, if you have these core dippers out there who think that they're doing a good deed or doing a good service to the community by fighting and bickering back and forth with these people online, I think they need to take a step back and say, I don't think I'm getting anything done here. I don't even think they deserve for me to be able to sit here and waste my time to justify this. Just let those comments go. Let them go. The most frustrating thing to an internet troll or a bully or somebody who's trying to give somebody a hard time is for people not to respond to their negativity. Because they just fizzle out. They just fizzle out. And there's nothing more frustrating to that person than for nobody to even pay attention.
Right.
And that's what they deserve. All right?
Yeah, definitely.
All right, brother. Thank you very much for calling. We really appreciate your participation and listening and everything.
Thanks
all right?
for having me.
It's our pleasure, Brandon. Take care, buddy.
You too.
Yeah, and it's actually funny that you kind of had mentioned.
Good dude.
Funny that you had kind of mentioned that, because a couple months back there was some back and forth between some people in the community, and I chimed in with just like a very an answer to the actual posted question, and again went back and forth, and somebody asked a new question, and I posted another answer, and the one gentleman said, you know what, it's so funny because no matter what, all the trolls out there, DYC, most of the community does such a good job of staying level-headed and trying to just, answer the questions and be respectful of people. And that's
we're not going to play that game, dude. 3 years ago, I have played that game. I would go on these forums and these threads and Facebook, and I would battle with people, and I would give credibility, and I would answer their false claims and accusations, and I would justify it. But back then, there was the community and the market didn't exist.
Right.
I was fighting for the ability to have credibility,
right,
and to have something substantial there. Now, one one guy on a Facebook group said, "Who cares?"
Right.
Look, there's
And
the DYC forum has over 400,000 members. There's a lot of people on Facebook, Liquid Rap Nation, all these different areas. There's plenty of good stuff going on our side. Who cares what's going on over the fence?
and like you said, you touch on this a little bit. You'll notice when those haters are, piling on or whatever, they're not saying anything with any substance really.
Because they
Oh,
don't know
Plasti
anything
Dip is
about it.
Plasti Dip is crap. Explain to me, and I'll even see these screenshots. Explain to me why Plasti Dip is crap. Oh, because it sucks, bro.
It's inexpensive.
Right.
Oh, that's a terrible, terrible thing. You're
Right.
right. Anything inexpensive and affordable must be terrible.
Right.
But it is what it is, man. You're always going to have, no matter what industry you're in, no matter who you are, you're always going to have the negativity out there.
Right.
And at this point, I kind of welcome it.
Right.
Because people are paying
it means you're
attention.
doing
They
something
know
right.
about it. There's certain levels of jealousy out there for whatever angles. At this point, we have so much good going on and so much momentum that the last thing I care about is anybody who doesn't understand or care or like what we're doing. Could not care less.
Haters gonna hate.
Boom. All right.
All
What's
right.
next?
So next topic is
Dan, do you have anything to add to that?
Oh, I was gonna say haters gonna
All right. I knew that's his core line.
The next topic we're going to talk about is we recently changed some names of our pearls, and we had some
categories.
Yes. And people had some questions about that, and
here's what you're going to see. You're going to see the old chameleon pearls term is going to be changing or has changed to color shift pearls. Candy pearls term has changed to solid pearls. And, we don't sell ghost pearls at DipYourCar yet. We're still playing with them a little bit. But ghost pearls are changing to interference pearls. And that's not just on DYC. That is industry-wide. Mm-hmm. All of the industry-leading pearl and additive manufacturers, DYC, Candy Pearls, or KP, Did Spade, Cosmic Pearls, EK, I think custom painting pearls even. All of the industry leaders are adapting these new terms. The old terms, we needed a refresh. Think about chameleon pearls for a second. What a chameleon does is it changes its color based on environment and temperature. Our pearls aren't doing that. Mm-hmm. They're changing their color. They're shifting their color based on perspective, angles, and lighting. So let's get a more accurate description. Right. Color shifting is what the pearls are doing. And if you're buying any pearls from any of those very quality retailers that I just listed, you're going to now see these new terms. So know what you're looking for. All of the old DYC videos and materials and everything have been updated. And I'll bet you one thing. 6 months from now, no one's even going to be using those old terms. They're going to be a thing in the past. They'll be archaic. Nobody will even know what that chameleon pearl is by then. So the entire industry is going in a very new, healthy direction, and I think it's a great thing. I'm actually really excited about it. And the response that we've had from this decision is really supportive, and everybody seems to like it. They think they're more refreshing. They are more accurate and descriptive.
Exactly.
Solid pearls. I mean, those are the types of things that we want. And you know what? When you have an idea and you have a new direction you want to go in, you can't really marinate on it too long. You make a decision. I have good relationships with all of these high-end leading manufacturers, pearls and pigments included. Obviously, they supply the majority of the DYC dip pearls. Mm-hmm. And everyone loved the idea, and everyone switched over already. So everyone's going in the right direction. No, you're going to see me correcting people on Facebook for a couple weeks until everybody gets it down, but the majority of people have already got it down.
I was going to say most people have already
and
acclimated.
I love it. I think we're going in a great direction with that. I love it.
Yep, you got to evolve. All right, so let's go on to the Q&As, and this is a great one to kind of piggyback off the pearls. Sage actually emailed in a question, and he wanted to know, have we ever thought about maybe changing what we store the pearls in? Instead of sending them in the bags, having a different type of container to send those in or to measure them in.
That's interesting. Here's the deal on that. We sell our pearls in bags right now. And another option would be little plastic jars. Mm-hmm. Plastic jars are a good option. But there are other pearl companies that use that, and that's kind of like their thing.
Right.
And I prefer to let them have that. I mean, would I, in a perfect world, like to switch to plastic jars on some pearls? Maybe. Maybe. I'm not sure. But I like to let people have their thing. If Did Spade, for example, throws all of their I don't know which ones, probably the color shifts or whatever, into those plastic jars, I don't want to adapt that. I like to let them have their fingerprint and their brand. There's nothing wrong with the plastic bags. We upgraded to that real thick one, that real nice one. I know it might be easier to measure and stuff, but the thing about it is you can't do everything you want in this industry, especially when you're the industry leader. You have to let other brands and entities have their thing and have their flavor.
Thing.
Yeah. And so that's the answer to that. We've gotten a couple questions about that. Even our warehouse management team was like, "Hey, what do you think about these?" They got some samples. I'm like, "Yeah, there's other companies that do that. Let them have that. I don't want to take that." And not that it would be that big of a deal, but
right.
That's different. If you order pearls from somebody and you're used to it coming in a jar when it comes from them, and that's a feel, like I like them, let them have that feel, and we'll have our feel, and everybody just kind of build their own stuff.
Right. All right. Well, Chris had a question. He wanted to know. He knows that every time we do a video, we do that wheel kit giveaway on Facebook. If you share and like the video,
Yeah.
Are there any other ways that the company likes to give back?
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah. It's interesting. We're 3 years in, or a little over 3 years in, and for a new company, it's interesting because as the owner, I kind of make personal decisions on stuff like that. It's not like I come to the whole company and say, "Hey, here's what I'm thinking we're doing." We do have some employees whose lives are affected by breast cancer. So every year we do that Fierce Pink, and then we donate 5% of all those Fierce Pink sales to Breast Cancer Awareness Month, or to the Susan G. Komen Foundation. But what we also do is, personally, I'm an animal lover. I'm a dog guy, and there's a couple different dog rescue Facebook groups that I'm a part of. And what I like to do is once a month, there's always posts that are up about a family who's got a dog that needs surgery or one thing or another, and they can't afford it. So what people do is they go up and they post these dog, they post like, "Hey, my name is so and so. I've got this dog." And they post these GoFundMe things or links, and people can contribute. So once a month, I pick a family whose dog needs surgery or whatever, and the family can't afford it, and I'll just fund the whole thing. And we do that once a month, and we do it under through DipYourCar, so that obviously it's kind of like our thing, but that's right now. That's what we're doing. We're focusing on the breast cancer awareness thing, and once a month we save a dog.
And you also dumped a bucket of ice on your head.
Yeah, earth-shattering.
Chris also wants to know: is there any plans to make people, DYC a public company so he can buy stock or invest money into the company?
No.
All right. Mohammed actually asked a question about the videos, and he wanted to know if you've ever messed up spraying a vehicle, had runs, things of that nature, or are you always laying down perfect, beautiful coats and done at the end of the video?
I mean, yeah, for sure I messed up. I mean, if you want to be literal, the first year of doing videos was a learning experience because we were always trying new things. We were self-thinning the gallons back then. So we were always messing with different ratios and thinners and different guns and equipment. Yeah, man. I mean, I've definitely had my share of weird mistakes that I've had to peel panels and smooth stuff down and stuff. To be honest, that hasn't happened in a long time.
Right.
But that's because it's so consistent. I mean,
right.
Gabe masks the car, preps the car. Sometimes he'll even shoot the base coat for me before I get there. And I'm just doing the same thing over and over. It would be difficult for me to screw up at this point.
Right.
So it hasn't happened in a while. I'm sure it'll happen again. It's not like I'm going to be perfect forever, spraying that stuff. It will happen again. It hasn't happened in a while. But yeah, I mean, in the beginning especially, I have definitely tried new techniques and different things that didn't work out for me, and sprayed different colors that, you know, didn't cover or one
Right,
thing or
right, right.
another. And I've had some troubleshooting to do for sure.
I think that's going to be refreshing for a lot of first-time dippers to hear, or
Yeah.
people that are maybe on their second or third, or just jumping off into the pearls, because we get that call a lot of, I had this issue, or I see this. What did I do wrong? And that's what our technicians on staff are for, and customer service. We love to help and troubleshoot, and that's
Mhm.
why feel free to give us a call anytime, before you order and you want to discuss those things,
Yeah.
or before when you get those products and
Yeah.
you're unpacking them and you're excited. Don't
Sitting right in front of you and you want to get a little coaching session before you
Right,
spray. I mean,
right.
for sure. I mean, think about it like this. If you watch videos 2 or 3 years ago to now, even my spraying style is completely different.
Mhm.
Back then, I would use like a big 7, 8, or 8 to 10 inch fan. I would be way far back and I'd be misting it on and I'd be moving super quick, but far away. Now I've got like a 7-inch fan. Most of the time, I'm right up against the car,
Mhm.
3-4 inches away, just blasting it with like an immediately wetting out coat, and I'm just dragging the wet edge across the car, even on the first coat. And I've noticed that a lot of people are saying, "Dude, you used to preach 50% coverage first coat." I never even realized that I've gotten to the point where I'm just nailing the car the first coat, and I don't suggest everybody to do
Right.
that because it's a fine line. But with PDS, man, it's not like other stuff where you have to feather it on, a couple of times. You can blast, if you know what
Mhm.
you're doing, you can blast that car from the first coat on.
Yeah, actually, a lot of people ask about that all the time. They'll say, "Well, how many coats does 3 gallons get for my specific car?" And I'll tell them I, use that all the time as a perfect example of, if you give 3 gallons to somebody that's never dipped a car, to compared to 3 gallons to Fonzie,
Yeah.
who's been dipping cars for almost 4 years now and does multiple of that videos a week, it's a very different. 3 gallons is not the same for everybody.
No, it's not.
So.
It's not.
And then Vance actually wanted to know, and we actually had done a recent tutorial for the new top coat. He wants to know, and we've kind of touched on this, that this will be out there, but he wants to know, when is a full car tutorial going to happen, like we did with the wheels?
I don't. Maybe we might start filming it next week.
Mhm.
That's gonna be a multiple day video,
Right.
because we're gonna go through the washing, the prepping, or what's in the whole kit and what everything does. How to washing it, prepping it, masking it, spraying it, breaking it down, washing it the next day, dip coating it. I mean, we're gonna go through the whole thing. So that's probably like a 2 or 3 day shoot.
Right.
I've got a very important video to shoot tomorrow.
Hmm.
And we'll probably shoot that through Friday, and then we usually space ourselves out, and still we got a lot of big projects going on right now that take a lot of time. It's funny that people are like, "Oh," I got a message from a good dipper friend of mine yesterday who said, "Oh man, I bet you're so relieved now that the dip coat top coat's finally out. You can relax or take a vacation." And I mean, that is just one fish in the fryer that just got pulled out, and there are ones that are just as big as that are going.
Right.
And
Right.
there will be no vacation anytime soon.
Right. Yeah.
So
All right. Chris from Highline Dips, he actually wanted to know, because we're talking about the Dip Pearl Top Coat now, our sales since the pre-order and after the pre-order, were they on par, below what we thought we were going to do?
sales for what?
Sales of the Dip Pearl Top Coat.
Mm.
Were they on par, below par, or above what our expectations were?
They are considerably higher than what was forecasted. We placed you can correct me. Our first run, I mean, man, I can't.
Chris
I mean,
stumped you.
Well, I mean, there's certain information
Right.
that
Right.
is appropriate and is not, but put it this way: we put our first purchase order in for about 5,000 gallons right before, a couple weeks before we started the pre-order. And then as the pre-order was going, a couple weeks in, we stacked another purchase order on top of that, because we had undershot what we thought was going to happen. And then as the pre-order was live for about a month, right?
Yes.
And then as the pre-order was wrapping up, we placed another purchase order to make sure we had enough. And because these purchase orders are usually 4 or 5 week lead times.
Right.
I would say, just to wrap this question up, we've probably gone through and ordered more than double what we initially budgeted for.
Mm-hmm.
So what we thought we were going to order and that was going to carry us through 30 to 45 days, we've actually needed double that amount. And you know why? Because, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to get into it, but it's just I hate to use the term. I'm not going to use the term game changer, but it has adjusted the system.
The game.
I was trying to think of a synonym for game.
Uh,
Things have changed and people are using it and they're getting, the best part is they're having success with it.
right.
You know, not everybody will.
Right.
It's not turnkey, your favorite term, but some of the speed shapes that are popping off that people are doing are looking unbelievable.
Absolutely.
And the best part is people can spray speed shapes just as good as I can, and they're getting the same results that I did, which is awesome, because
Mhm.
I don't want anybody to feel like they can't do what I can do with this stuff. And there's been a lot of people. Richard from the Car Skin. I don't want to leave anybody out, but there's, Custom Dips. David Taylor. I can't think right now. There's a lot of people that have
There's
been
so many.
showing what this stuff is capable of,
Right.
that I've had nothing to do with them. I mean, London, everybody who's had excellent success with it on their own throughout their own experimentation just shows that this is a very user-friendly product. It's not the end-all, be-all. It's not a replacement for OEM clear coat, but it is outstanding for what it is.
And you know what I've noticed is actually, in the video you talked a lot about, all the things that went into it. That was a very long but very necessary video tutorial.
Mhm.
I've seen so many people with this Dip Pearl top coat doing speed shapes and practicing on hoods and,
Mhm.
and wheels and things like that. I think that really hit home with a lot of people. And I was really surprised because, it's a little bit of a bump in price,
Mhm.
but, you pay, for what you get.
Yeah,
and
don't even
and
get started on that.
I'm really impressed by like the responsibility of people actually saying like, all right, let me practice instead of shooting this
Yeah.
the first time and sending a photo or putting a message up on Facebook and saying, yeah, this stuff doesn't do what
Dude, I'm
you
telling
guys
you.
are
I
saying
mean, we
it
had
does.
Corey in. I watched him spray. He had great results with it, and I didn't tell him to do anything. He just used his own equipment, did his own thing. I can't think of everybody, but there's been a lot of people that have had excellent success with it, and that's
Right.
all we wanted.
Right.
We did not want to create a product that only the elite of the elite of the elite can use.
Right.
And everybody else who might as well not buy it or
Right.
use it. Almost everybody can get really good results with it, and the elite of the elite should be able to get elite results with it.
I mean, I actually had somebody message me, I think Keith, the other day saying he actually thinks it's easier to spray than glossifier. So, I mean, and obviously
I'm starting to think the same thing, honestly. Or maybe that's just because I've been using it consistently for
Right.
so long.
Right.
But once you figure it out, man, you figure it out.
Mm-hmm. And our last question of the night, Phillips actually wants to know, so now that the Dip Pearl top coat's released, and you kind of hit a little bit on this, that, there is no rest for the weary. We're going to keep pushing the envelope. What's next?
I can't even comment on that. I mean, we've got, I can think of 3, possibly 4 massive projects coming. You know me, everybody knows me by now. I'm not going to say anything unless I'm sure of it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to give a date unless I'm sure of it. Testing does not mean everybody's going to know about it. I know that a lot of people ask about Chrome, for
Mhm.
example, and people have been asking, it's been kind of like an urban legend about us testing Chrome. And yeah, we are testing a Chrome Plasti Dip, and you've probably seen pictures of it. And it is not bright aluminum. It's not silver. It's not stainless steel. It does have the characteristics of Chrome, But I'm telling you, man, I'm going to test something until it's impossible for me to figure out something wrong with it.
Right.
I'm going to run it through every single scenario that I can possibly think of, because I want you to be able to purchase it knowing 100% confidence that there's no surprises, there's no disappointment. It does exactly what I tell you it's going to do, and that takes time.
And I think people now, since you kind of push the envelope with the Dip Pearl top coat, forget how long from that first teaser until it went live, how long that was. But think about all the testing and stuff that you did before
Dude,
that
imagine,
first teaser.
as a dipper, imagine being me, who is a dipper, nothing more, having something like that in your back pocket for 14 months.
Right.
And you're not going to say anything. You can't say anything to people. But it's all part of the process.
Right.
We're going to continue to evolve this thing. We're going to continue to push the limits. There's no fiber in my body that is satisfied or content with where we are. We are just scratching the surface. No pun intended.
I was going to say,
Dip
use
coat.
that dip.
I knew you were going to say that.
All right.
right.
So I think that kind of wraps it up for today. I just wanted to kind of wrap it up with don't forget to go to the forums and vote for the February's installer of the month. We had so many good submissions this month, and it's going to be a tight race like always. I think we trimmed it down to 5.
Yeah, it's round 2.
So
and
get
what
in
about
there.
Ronnie from Dip Science?
Yeah.
Dip of the Month winner.
There you go.
Never won. He texted me. Never won featured installer of the month for all the times that I was an installer, but I find now I win Dip of the Month. But he's a good dude, man. I think we're supposed to have him on next week.
Yeah, I think so.
I gotta wrap that up. Dan, you want to add anything?
Don't
Don't hate for. He
like-
had that in the holster for an hour now,
So long.
ready to pop that
14
off.
months of testing with that one.
Oh man! All right, guys, we'll check you on the next episode.